Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do my bookish video for the month of August. We're going to talk about the books that I read, and then I'm also going to talk a little bit about kind of where my reading is at, how I'm doing for my goals for the year, and a little bit about the Man Booker, which if you guys have watched my last video, you know I'm trying to read the entire Man Booker long list. Unfortunately, the short list comes out on the 13th, so I don't think I'm going to make it before the shortlist is announced. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video and kind of my experience reading the Man Booker so far. So I read 3 books in the month of August. 3 books seems to be about as many as on average that I can manage to read. The thing is that I read them very fast. So I'll read one book in like 3 days, but then I'll take a really long time off of reading anything. And that's why like the 3 book a month thing never seems like very much reading to me, because I'm not continuously reading something. So starting off with what I read basically the 1st and 2nd of August, which was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now if you've been living under a rock, that is the 8th Harry Potter book. It deals with Harry's kids and kind of the dynamic of the family, but it is a play. It is not like a full-length novel. It's not written in the same style as Harry Potter. It is definitely a script of a play. Unfortunately, The Cursed Child really fell flat for me. I liked kind of having an extra story. I liked having kind of a meditation on maybe what would have happened. I do not think it was given, obviously, the same care and attention to details that the rest of the books were given. Just looking at it from a play aspect, I've read quite a few plays. It was probably one of the most underwhelming plays that I've ever read. I don't know, there's usually so much more description, so much more setting up of what is going on. I have not fully accepted it honestly as canon because I'm not really sure you need to, because it is a different format, it isn't part of the same series, so I don't think a lot of what happened in The Cursed Child I am going to keep in my like head space canon. I have friends who really enjoyed it, who thought it was really cute, who appreciated it for what it was. I have librarian friends who really appreciated it and liked the story, so I'm not trying to bash it. If you loved it, then do it, then love it. If you hated it, hate it. Like, to me, it's one of those things that there are going to be 2 sets of people. There are going to be people who loved it and who are so into the Harry Potter like canon and want every little bit that they can get. And then there's going to be people like me who were maybe a little bit underwhelmed, who didn't really appreciate the format as much. You know, and there's always going to be that kind of divide, and I think that's especially true in something that people take so personally and are so close to people's reading experience as Harry Potter. So anyway, the long, rambly bit of that, it made me really want to reread Harry Potter, honestly, to see if Harry Potter still holds up to my reading expectations. I haven't reread the series in a really, really long time, so I might start rereading it at the end of this year. We'll see. I've got a lot of other books to go through. So the month of August for me was really apparently a child-centric reading experience, because the second book that I read was the 2nd volume of Rutabaga the Adventure Chef, which I read the 1st volume exactly a year ago, so last August, and I love Rutabaga. I think it is so cute. I think the art style is really good. I think it's very accessible for adults. The 2nd volume was not quite as good as the 1st volume. I think that's always really hard. Finally, the last book that I read was The Right 3. Now, if you remember, in July, I read Chasing Vermeer, which was a childhood favorite of mine. The Right 3 is the 2nd book in the Chasing Vermeer series. I think it's a quad. I think it's a quartet, as I keep forgetting the word of that. So I read the 2nd book, The Right 3. I'd never read it before. I loved it. I thought it was great. I was so surprised because I liked it so much more than Chasing Vermeer. And I don't know if that is because I had read Chasing Vermeer before and like I knew what was gonna happen, but The Right 3 was so enjoyable for me, even as an adult. I was so pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed it. The characters, these like 3 kids that you're finding out about, you learn a little bit about them in the first book. In the second book, they really start developing as people and as characters, and I think the overall like tone is very true to that age. I wanted to briefly talk about the Man Booker prize list that I'm reading. So you guys know, if you watched my last video, that I'm trying to read the long list, and the long list is 13 books. I have currently, as of right this second, read 2 of them. I'm running into a problem. So, as you may be able to tell from my my voice and from lots of other things I've said, I live in the United States. The Man Booker is a UK-based award. I did not, like in my brain, did not think of the fact that it is going to be harder for me to get copies of certain ones of this book. There are like 3 or 4 books that are not even available in the United States. Either they are getting published later this year, or like I can't find a copy even online to purchase myself. I can't find like a UK edition. Third, the other problem is that some of the books have different titles. That is, to me, that is mind-boggling that we are still doing that. I'm getting a little frustrated because I'm not able to find these books. So, long story short, it's taking me a lot longer to read the list because I'm just having trouble finding the book. So this has obviously been a little bit of a problem for me. I haven't been able to get through the books as quickly as I would like to. The short list, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is coming out very soon. I have wanted to get through the whole long list before the short list was announced. Let's go over some of my goals for this year, because it's about halfway through the year. It was in July. I should have done this in July, but I didn't. We're going to kind of catch up with some of my 2016 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. There are some things on here that I've just decided I'm not going to read because I have really no interest in reading those kinds of books. Book that was published in 2016 that was really easy because a lot of the Man Booker books were published in 2016. A book with a protagonist who has your occupation. Now, this one I kind of fibbed a little bit. Now, I could have found somebody who was a librarian, I could have found someone who was a YouTuber or some sort of that thing, but what I went with was Hot Milk, because the person in there is a young woman who is an anthropologist. She had a degree in anthropology, she's not using it. I have a degree in anthropology, I'm not using it. A book from the library. I have read so many books from the library. Every book I think that I have read this year has been a book from the library. There are a couple that I'm not going to accomplish, and I thought I would just tell you which ones those are right now. A book written by a celebrity. A political memoir. Don't want to read any political memoir this year. An autobiography, not real big on autobiographies. I don't really care very much. Book about a road trip. Don't like those books. So that one probably won't happen. So for my like Goodreads, how many books in the year do I want to read? My goal I had set at 30. I am, as of September 1st, at 28. So I'm very, very close. I'm definitely going to finish it, especially because I have like 12 more Man Booker books to read. Actually 11. I have 11 more Man Booker books to read. On to my haul portion of the video. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be doing my library book haul. So these are all the books that I currently have checked out from the library. This is my library bookshelf. It's so that I know where those books are. Alright, I have emptied my library bookshelf. First, we have another Man Booker book. This is Northwater by Ian McGuire. I have to read this one, so I checked it out so that I had it to read. I think this is about... Next book is Eileen, which is also a Man Booker. This is kind of another psychological thriller. Next two are books that I have checked out that are not on the Man Booker, but they are 2 that I've been meaning to get to. The first is The Improbability of Love by Hannah Rothschild. This is, if you don't know, it was nominated for the Bailey's Prize, which is a women's fiction prize. This sounded so funny and so cute that I really had to try it. It's about a painting called The Improbability of Love. The Mandibles by Lionel Shriver. I've just heard some really fabulous things about Lionel Shriver. I have not read any of her other stuff. Yeah, this is about kind of what happens when the economy collapses and the dollar no longer means anything, which I've always found a really interesting subject. Like, you know, the only reason money works is because we all tell it that it works. So the idea of it collapsing has always been a really intriguing idea to me. So that is all that I wanted to talk about in this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope, you know, your reading is going well. If you are reading any of the Man Booker books, let me know, because I need people to talk to about these books, and nobody that I know is reading them. So, I'll see you guys very soon with another video. Bye. I don't think that... Did I turn my microphone on? I'm gonna go ahead and check. I did.